beaten, bruised, mistreated, neglected, starved, forgotten, misunderstood, and helpless. These are some of the words that come to mind when one thinks of animals who are exposed to animal cruelty. Now, according to the Insurance Information Institute, 68% of all U.S. households, or about 85 million families, own a pet. Now, this really puts into perspective how many animals are out there, doesn't it? My name is Hagler, and I have owned a pet, or my immediate family has owned a pet that I interacted with regularly for the majority of my lifetime. I'm also a huge animal lover. My brother's family owned a pet that had been abused, and this made me realize that animal cruelty was a problem. This also made me want to do something about it because of my love for animals. Now, I knew that others with pets had been abused or victims of cruelty. This helped me realize that there was a small solution already for animal cruelty, and it also helped me to see how many animals were not receiving help. Animal cruelty has more cases being built up than are being taken care of. Us as humans are the cause, but also the solution for animal cruelty. Awareness needs to be raised for this issue to gain more support for these poor creatures. Let me start by explaining why this is such a large predicament. Our problem is that animal cruelty is on the rise. Animal cruelty needs a larger voice, and it needs more of us supporting it. Now, according to Matthew Taylor from the Guardian News and Media, animal cruelty reached an all-time high in 2016, with animal cruelty caseload hitting almost 150,000 investigations. This issue is not going away anytime soon. These animals need as much help as they can get. In Eleonora Gallone's study, it was found that over 10,000 animals die each year globally from animal cruelty. Now, this may sound silly and obvious, but animals cannot physically tell us that they need help from us. Pretty obvious, right? But this causes us as humans to have to be more aware that there are animals in need of our help. And that is my sole purpose today. The amount of support provided right now is not nearly enough compared to the help needed for animal cruelty cases. Animals suffer or die every day from not having the support that they need. The more support that we give, the more lives that we're going to save from these animals. If these animals are given the support that they need, then we have less to take care of, which in turn can free up more resources to be used elsewhere. Now, let's take a look at some of the avenues of approach to address this concern correctly and efficiently. There are two easily accessible and convenient ways to solve this problem from an everyday person's point of view. You can either volunteer time through adoption or through a local shelter or organization. There are shelters everywhere with pets to adopt, at least in most decently sized cities or towns. Adopting animals who are subjected to cruelty can give them the second chance that they never knew they would have. This puts these animals into a loving home that will actually nurture and care for them properly. Animal adoption is much more cost efficient compared to purchasing a brand new pet. It can even be free in most cases. A lot of shelters will offer adoption for animals who've been the victims of cruelty to no cost or very little cost. And if this long-term time commitment of adoption is not a viable option for you, then you're more than welcome to volunteer to time at a shelter or local organization. This is a more flexible option, and it's available at most local shelters. Most shelters aren't going to say no to help that's free for them. A lot of them are nonprofit organizations as well. Volunteers working for shelters are more than likely to recommend these animals to friends and family as well if they don't have the time to take care of them themselves. And that makes it a much more effective avenue of approach. Now, if volunteering time is not an option, then money is always an acceptable form of donation for these organizations. Everyone's time is valuable, right? It's the one thing that we can never get back after we use it. So of course, a financial donation is more than welcome if that is the case. Now, this is a very fast and convenient method for those of you who are pressed for time. The largest organization in the United States against helping animal cruelty is the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the ASPCA. The ASPCA offers many solutions to help combat animal cruelty on a wide scale. Individuals can adopt through the ASPCA, they can offer financial donations through the ASPCA, and the ASPCA has a huge crisis response team that goes globally and worldwide to help in certain circumstances. And according to the ASPCA, 63 cents a day will help provide for the first meal to animals who are the victims of cruelty. Time and money seem to be the two biggest reasons or excuses why an individual wouldn't assist a cause like this, according to Emma Allanay in the Psychology of Animal Cruelty. Okay, it's really simple. If someone doesn't have the time, then they're able to make a convenient financial donation. If someone doesn't have the money, then they're able to volunteer their time at their own convenience to a local shelter or through the ASPCA. And if for some reason these two options are absolutely impossible, then one can spread the word by mouth to their friends and family. Having seen what these options are to support these animals, let's see what effects it can have. Picture a world where there's no animals hurt by the hands of humans. This may seem unrealistic, but our help will mitigate how many are affected, and even if we can never get rid of the problem completely, it makes a huge difference. Dogs, cats, livestock, reptiles, wildlife are all victims of these crimes. Some are left starving, tied up, beaten, or in poor living conditions. The biggest victory would be for this to stop completely, but that's not completely realistic. If this problem was minimized, then we'd be able to focus more of our efforts on other issues as well. Now, with this picture being painted in your mind, let's move on to review what's been said and what we can do to help. So, to review, we've established that animal cruelty is a rising issue, and that animals cannot voice their need for help themselves, and that there's currently not enough support for this issue. With animal cruelty on the rise, more of us are needed to help get rid of that increase. Representatives for these animals are needed to take care of them and spread the word about this issue. With a small number of supporters, the load of animal cruelty is rising to be a burden, and more individuals are needed to help. So I want each of you to dig deep. Use one of these methods listed above to help with this cause. Volunteer at your local shelter and donate some money to your local shelter or the ASPCA, or adopt an animal. At the very least, tell your friends and family members about this problem and help spread awareness.